This is me, Cameron Delahaye. I'm a 25-year-old who quit their finance job to become a pilot. I'm dedicating this channel to document this process for anyone else who might be just as crazy. So sit back, buckle up, and welcome on board.
Hey everybody, welcome back. If you've ever looked at the sky and thought about quitting your job to become a pilot and then Googled the cost of doing so and almost passed out, this video is for you. In the first video I announced, I built a fully in-depth spreadsheet to calculate my personal cost, and I had a lot of questions from you guys asking, okay, what is the actual cost? Can you share the spreadsheet? So today, this is to answer your question. I'm gonna do a deep dive into the actual cost of being a pilot, the timelines, the general expectations, and really what does it look like in 2025. So first things first, becoming a pilot, it's an entire career shift. The direction that I took was a full resignation to become a full-time pilot, which in many people's perspective is probably the most extreme approach, because at this point your income stops, but your bills don't. Now, the analysis that I did, I'm gonna go ahead and put a screenshot here about my personal expenses. I ended up moving back home to save money by eliminating any rent, lowering my quality of life. I've been able to decrease my monthly liabilities, and by doing that, able to afford myself more time. Furthermore, I'm not married, I don't have children, I'm in a very unique situation. Everybody's gonna have a different situation. There's qualitative and quantitative aspects to consider. So for this portion, I mapped two paths, and I touched on both of these in my introductory video. One is Part 61, the other is Part 121, or the ATP route. The primary variable between the two is typically cost. Cost varies significantly between the two, but you, as the viewer, need to make a determination what is the best course of action for you. So going through my spreadsheet, we have a few fixed variables. We have fuel cost. I'm averaging about $5 a gallon, sometimes $4.50 in the cheaper airport, sometimes $5.50, $6 if you do the fuel truck. But for conversation purposes, we're gonna say $5. Instruction for me is $60 an hour with my flight instructor. Now, taking those fixed variables, we can apply those through all the certifications in the process, to instrument, to commercial, all the way to ATP. It generally stays the same. So the fast track to 4 ratings and certifications, again, that number comes out to about $1,000. That is based on the current market price of renting this plane with the instruction that I found at this Part 61 school. So again, you compare that to ATP at their 6-month program with 6 licenses, you're looking at about $120,000, including check rides from a DPE. Now, this is a huge aspect. I had a few people in my comments reach out to me regarding this topic, but it's simple. Renting a plane versus ownership. Now, renting a plane obviously has lower initial cost. It costs $0 because you don't have to buy a plane, you're just paying by the hour. Conversely, owning a plane is a high initial cost, but over time, depending on your hours, can actually be cheaper. Now, to get your hands on an aircraft that would be capable to put you through this training could range from the ballpark of as low as $60,000 maybe to around $100,000. I ran a cost analysis for my family. With my investment and financial analysis background, I was able to do a discounted cash flow analysis, which I'm going to include right here. As you're going to see, I did 4 calculations based on how many hours a month the plane flies. So because I'm in an Aero Club, and the way the Aero Club works is when you are an owner, you buy an aircraft, you give that aircraft, you rent it or you lease it to an Aero Club. Members pay monthly to join the Aero Club to have access to rent the aircraft. Typically, this is a simple supply and demand equation. If you have demand, it can be very profitable. If you don't have demand, it can be a very tricky situation. Now, these planes, as I mentioned in my previous video, for the past 2 months have been flying 80 to 100 hours a month. Now, on this analysis, you can see on the far side of things, even if we fly 25 hours a month, if we were to buy a plane and put it in here, we break even. 25 hours is very minimal. If we fly 80 to 100 hours, we are seeing significant profit and term paybacks in less than 4 to 5 years, which is crazy. That includes overhaul reserve, maintenance, oil, And again, the fixed costs for this are pretty low because the Aero Club takes care of insurance and hangar fees. We don't have to pay hangar fees, we don't have to pay insurance. That's all taken out. They split the profit with us 80-20. So if we rent our aircraft for $100 an hour, they take 20, we keep 80. So the benefit of doing this, again, you buy a plane, you put it in an air club, and it will be a cash flow asset. This plane, if it rents 80 hours a month at $100 per hour, that's $8,000. The club takes 20%, we take 80%. That is our net operating revenue. Obviously, we pay taxes on that. We're gonna have to set a portion of that aside for overhaul reserves and maintenance, but it is a cash flow asset, and planes, good planes, do appreciate over time. Aviation has been a testament to that. Cessna 172s typically are the standard for that conversation. Now, in the worst case scenario, if the job market was really bad, and let's say you couldn't find a job, Part 135, whatever it was, even Part 91, if you were gonna be an instructor, if you could not find a job, theoretically, if you were able to get a plane into an air club and only have to pay for fuel, that it would cost you about $50,000 to go from a commercial certificate at about 250 hours to 1,500 hours, which would allow you to apply to the regional airlines and secure a good job. If you find someone to split fuel with you, because if you're both rated, you can share the time as PIC, you can split the fuel cost in half, and that lowers to $25,000. So in the lowest cost possible, zero to commercial at $22,000, $25,000 split with an ATP, you could get to an airline for less than 50 grand. Now again, the hiring market is tough. Maybe they're not gonna accept you at 1,500 hours, but nonetheless, it would put you in the realm of getting a good job. Now, let's talk about timelines. Cost really doesn't mean anything unless you have a timeline, because at the end of the day, when you do quit your job, you are on a financial clock. So when I built this plan, I was estimating between 4 to 6 flyable days per week. This could have happened from any number of reasons. One, weather, two, maintenance, maybe you have a flat tire, maybe there's an electrical issue, whatever it is. I was planning at minimum 4 days a week. If I were to stick to this plan, realistically, you could progress from private to instrument to commercial within 3 to 5 months. And this is assuming you're doing it full time, you're really taking things seriously. And this goes back to my favorite quote from David Goggins. What are you doing when no one's looking? In a Part 61, if you're someone that says, I'm chasing my dreams, you are gonna be the person that thrives in this environment. If you're someone that needs a little bit more structure, you need the accountability, Part 141 is the way to go with ATP. Now for timelines, we're looking at anywhere from 13 months to get an ATP all the way up to 2 to 5 years, depending on your path of Part 61, Part 141, are you gonna be an instructor? Is there job availability? How quickly can you accumulate your hours? So again, the total cost of becoming a pilot, to make this concisely as possible, if you were to buy a plane and fly to accumulate your hours from commercial to ATP and split fuel, you could get an ATP for less than $100,000. The $22,000 to get you to commercial, and then on top of that, the $50,000, that's if you don't split fuel, and the 25, which would range from $45,000 to $75,000 to get your ATP. Now, if you were to become an instructor or work a Part 135 job to offset the cost, obviously that could potentially increase your timeline, but again, give you more valuable experience, which is what I'm trying to do. But in the worst case scenario, I think we need to be prepared either way. That's for the Part 61 side of things. For the Part 141, you're gonna be paying or financing the $116,000, the $4,000 in check rides, that's gonna put you at about $120,000. The $120,000 only gets you to about 225 flight hours, and then you have to tack on the additional cost. So $120,000, let's say you were able to buy a plane and split the fuel, you're still looking at $170,000. It's nearly double the price of a Part 61 at the end of the day. So there you have it. To become a pilot in 2025 with an ATP certificate, it's between $45,000 and $200,000. Go ahead, I'm curious, what is your biggest barrier to entry? Is it cost or is it time? I'm curious, let me know. So was it worth quitting my job? Hell yes. So if you guys enjoyed this video or found any value in it, please comment, subscribe, like. I'm gonna go ahead and try to upload content at least once a week. That's my personal goal. If you guys have any questions or recommendations on any content as well, please let me know below. So thank you guys again. I'm out.